interest in our group, and we had a very good lead-in terms of where we are in the community safety. Wiltshire is the safest county in the UK, so we might as well go home. What we looked at is what it actually says in this strategic assessment, that this community is likely to grow by about 17.3% in terms of population, 6,000 new homes by 2026. And this document's all about the services that are going to be required. You've got to look at that with the comprehensive spending review, the constriction across the public sector of 20% cuts, because that's what they really are. So the groups, or both groups, agreed what's identified in the assessment about domestic abuse or domestic violence, alcohol, and it's not just solely related to crime and disorder, huge impact on the health agenda, which is probably going to identify by another group, and what central government should be doing about the Licensing Act. It says it's going to review it. There are things that the local government can do as well to try to get a grip of it. So we put them to one side and said, well, yeah, we're already tackling that, but what can we do as a community within the context of the pressures that we're going to face and the restriction in budgets? We identified that one of the big strengths of Trowbridge is volunteering, and that's what you're all here tonight, a lot of you for. And there's several interesting things. One was, do we really know where all those volunteers are in the community? There's a figure in there, but is it properly mapped? Once we've mapped it, how do we coordinate? How do we brief? How do we use that resource to really get into the problems? We understand that Wiltshire Council have probably already identified this to a point, and they're looking at a strategy. I'm sort of looking over to Maggie, because I know that she might be able to help when it comes to strategy. We believe that not only for community safety, but for all the theme groups, that is going to be a really important thing during these challenging times. We're also lucky to have people who have been on Patscroft, Mead, probably some of them since the first bricks went up. And also we had a visitor from Staverton that used to be part of our community area that changed, but we won't go into that. They've got very interesting experiences about what happens when demographics change. And I said, this document says we're going to get 6,000 more homes, mainly to the east, off West Ashton Road. And there's some very sort of good learning about how community cohesion is really important. How ASB, and we go on to probably more of my day job, neighbourhood policing teams working with those communities is very important to deal with the problems, or the signal crimes as they're called. So that what's considered minor maybe to central government, littering, minor damage, if you don't get a grip of that with new communities, that's where the problems may start. And there were solutions suggested that the Community Area Board may have a big part to play in developing community cohesion and learning from perhaps Patscroft Mead, where there were problems, and I know I dealt with problems there, and there weren't community leaders because there was no support put in place at that planning stage when the first people moved in. We had to then try to build it, and from then they've got some fantastic volunteers working there, and they're starting to achieve results. So very interesting. I'm going to finish now because I know I've been stared at. So it's not what you traditionally would think about, what the cop's going to do about ASB, what they're going to do about crime. It was how the community could see what's in this document and how the community, the volunteers, can help to make a difference. That might lead nicely into the last little bit about who's going to put their names down on the sheet. Okay.